A very good evening to you, dear viewers. Hello and welcome to a new edition of the Daily Debate. And we start first with our top story here for tonight, as His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi heads to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to perform Hajj rituals. The President scheduled to arrive in Medina, where he will perform prayers in the Prophet's, peace be upon him's mosque, and visit the grave of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, before moving to Mecca to begin the Hajj rituals. That was our top story here in the Daily Debate, as tonight we'll be talking about Egypt's great experience in building new cities, one of its kind really experience. The new administrative capital is an example, for instance, a role model of sustainable communities. A lot of new cities have been built over the past 10 years here in Egypt, and a lot are to be built, making for newer communities, creating many jobs, and moving the economy forward and achieving sustainable development goals. And we'll be discussing this issue here tonight with our distinguished guest with us here in the studio, Dr. Salah Arafa, the professor of physics at the School of Sciences and Engineering at the American University in Cairo. And Dr. Arafa is also a member of civil society organizations. A very good evening to you, Dr. Arafa, and thank you for honoring us here on Nile TV International.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm so happy to be here.
It's a privilege, Dr. Arafa, to have you with us. Allow us, please, and allow us, dear viewers, as we always do here in the Daily Debate, first to watch a report on our main topic for tonight, and then come back and start our discussion.
National Urban Development Plan of Egypt addresses the Egyptian urban system and improves the present situation concerning the urban, communal and economic development. The General Organization for Physical Planning, the GOPP, is the responsible organization for formulating general policies and plans for sustainable human settlement development. The mandate of GOPP is, first, to enable local communities to determine urban priorities and agree on the development strategies. Second, to generate new job opportunities to revive local economies. Third, to induce institutional transformations by adopting participatory planning. GOPP aims to expand the inhabited area from 5% into 22% in the future. The foreseen outcomes of these efforts are basically, first, promoting economic growth, second, transforming local communities to be resilient and self-reliant without jeopardizing the natural resource base for the benefit of future generations. The development vision envisages, first, an advanced and competitive country at the global level with a knowledge economy that invests in human capabilities and resources. Second, a society that adheres to the national identity, its cultural heritage and its religious and civilizational values. Third, a society in which all citizens enjoy the well-being and quality of life within the framework of an integrated environmental system and a climate that motivates sustainable development and active community participation. The plan includes, first, strategic plans of the governorates to prepare the urban map for the governorates using a geographical information system, the GIS, and compile the available database from GOPP with the opportunity to add any data by the governorate. Second, strategic plans of the regions aiming at the following results: lower rates of growth for congested growing regions such as that of Cairo and Alexandria. B, a fairer share of investments directed to regions such as Upper Egypt, and new employment opportunities and reduced internal migration to both Cairo and Alexandria. C. Increasing population and investments for the development axes such as the North Coast Suez Canal region. Spatial development directions include, first, limiting the urban growth and concentration of economic establishments in Cairo and Alexandria and Delta governorates, as well as using a bundle of economic financial instruments. Second, reducing the rate of rural to urban migration by directing the investments to southern Egypt and new development frontiers along the north coast and the coast of the Red Sea, Gulf of Suez and Gulf of Aqaba. Third, upgrading slums through an integrated development approach that assures institutional transformations that stakeholders support. Fourth, attracting population and investments to desert areas outside the Nile Valley and Delta through financial incentives and funding place-oriented programs. The plan indicates detailed development strategies for the different regional areas of the country.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Thanks to Manali Abiari and Khalid Abdelbari for this comprehensive report. And we're back here in the studio with Dr. Salah Arafa, the professor of physics at the School of Sciences and Engineering at the American University in Cairo. Dr. Arafa, this is a major plan. I mean, we've had at least 14 new urban clusters throughout the Republic in the past a few years. The number of new cities within the state since 2014 until now is almost 30. 22 are being worked on, and some of them finished, and 8 will be implemented later. We will have Ras Al Hikma very soon. Tell us about what do you see about this whole plan and effort?
Really, I must say that the efforts done by the governments before and right now are great. However, I think I would like to say that we need to go on with this announcement that we have heard, that we should care about lots of other things. And let me take 2 important tools that we should be careful in planning. The first, I heard in the report, is that we need integration. What do you mean by integration? We mean that we are not looking for housing only. We are not looking for jobs only. We are not looking for schools only. We are looking for an integrated approach, well planned, well thought of, and well implemented. But the second very important issue that I really would like to mention here in this very important debate with you is the cooperation. And usually we take for the cooperation the plan that is there but not implemented right. What is the plan that's good? You have what we call it the golden triangle. Government, private sector, civil society. How could they be golden triangle if they can cooperate together? if they can sit together, if they can listen to each other. And this is, I can tell you, since I'm in the field, I tell you it is not happening in the right way. We need to encourage people to get together. And let me tell you, in all developed countries that we hear about them, when someone would visit, please ask about the city hall in any town. What is it? Well, this is a conference room where they can tell everyone in the community about new things, new plan, new ideas for a community dialogue. Is what we call it.
The national dialogue.
National dialogue.
We have it here.
But it should be a community dialogue. It's not Mr. X or President X or whatever X coming to give a talk.
And it should be all the time.
And it should be in all times where there is a new idea or a new plan or even an industry that someone is going to build an industry here. I need to have the community aware. And they can tell me, please, don't do that, or please be careful of that.
For this or that reason. Dr. Arafa, sorry to interrupt you, but we have to go now on air for the call for Al-Isha prayer, Adhan Al-Isha, and then we'll come back with our dear guest here in the studio, the call for Al-Isha. All right, welcome back, dear viewers. That was the call for Al-Isha prayer or Adhan Al-Isha. We're back here on the Daily Debate with our dear guests with us in the studio, Dr. Salah Arafa of the American University here in Cairo. And Dr. Arafa, the building of new communities and new cities has many, many goals, including fighting the idea that Egyptians were living along a small strip alongside the Nile River, 6% of the land for decades, so as to be spread all across the country. This serves national security. This creates new communities. This creates jobs. This decentralizes the city like Cairo or the heavily populated cities, and so there are a lot of benefits for that. First of all, what do you think is the major benefit, and second of all, what do you think are the obstacles facing the achievement of these goals? Because there is a lot of effort, but at the same time some say that the pace is not fast enough.
Well,
pace of movement, I mean the movement of people to those new cities is not fast enough.
The plans are very good, but the thinking needs to have another, I would say, golden triangle. And the three corners of this new triangle I'm proposing to you is, one, if we are really talking about integration of the thinking, I'm not going in this place to make 1,000 flats. That's not correct. 1,000 flats, and how many schools, and how many shops, and how many for working, and
hospitals.
How many. So the first corner would be integration, the second is cooperation, and the third, which is very, very important, is awareness. I'm here, I'm in a crowded city, I have no job, I need to live, what to do?
But still the major players will be the same, right? I mean, it's the government, the private sector, and the civil society. I mean, these are the players. You cannot change the players. But you're proposing a new triangle. You think working via this triangle will be more efficient, focusing on the integration, the cooperation, and the awareness.
Exactly, sir. If I want to make a community, a small one, out of 1,000 people. Okay. I need to sit with whom? A building engineer? Yes. But I need to sit with the people themselves. What are you looking for? What are you aiming for? What you can do? What do you need? These issues, it has to be...
This is the city hall you mentioned.
Exactly. And this is exactly what we did. Because...
As a member of civil society.
Without encouraging people for internal migration, forget it. Internal migration. It means with the populated areas here, I want to evacuate, to make it easy for them, is to go and build new communities, productive communities, agricultural communities, industrial communities.
Our country is very big, so there has to be a lot of incentives. You know, that's the first logical thing that would come to mind. There has to be a lot of incentives.
Oh, sure. The very important incentives, we are not planning to give anything to anybody free, but in an easy way. You want to have 5 acres and a building, and you don't have money. Forget it. No one will help you. But the NGOs that we are talking, the civil society, can group together and facilitate the process that I can pay and I can do whatever I can. And this is not like, you know, if you want to have the land, cultivate it. If you don't have money, we can give you a loan, easy. If you want to have some important things, for example, and I can give you a clear-cut example. If I go to a desert today, and I was given 1 acre, free of charge by the government, I cannot do anything.
Without the infrastructure needed, you mean the water, the...
How to get water?
Yeah.
I need to...
dig and so on, yeah, so you need infrastructure.
Well. And to dig well, I cannot do it for 1 acre. I have to do it for
masses
25,
of
250.
areas, yes.
And this means grouping. And grouping, I cannot go with you for a trip without knowing you.
So it has to be a community.
So
as you mentioned,
it has to be dialogue. And the dialogue would be on the structure of those interested. And this should be community. And I would really bring the idea of, when we talk about education, nobody is talking about community education. Why? Because you need to educate the community of what to do to help the government to make a good life.
To help the government and help themselves. Yeah.
Fandom, if I'm doing that to help the country, I'm helping myself first. And then my family, and then my community, and then my friend, and then the nation.
I understand, Dr. Arafa, that you had a successful experience as a member of civil society, as an expert in the field of engineering, in building a new community in Egypt a few decades ago, right? Tell us about that experience, and what can we learn from it?
This is, you know, whenever we talk about something, either we have an experience or don't walk, or don't talk. We have had a good experience in Sharqiya government with a village known as Basaisa, where 50 years ago, 50 years ago, I went to this village with a title. What was the title? I would like to see, as a researcher, professor in the university, what can I do to develop this community with science only. You see, title. What can I do to develop this already existing bad community, poor community, with science only?
No money, no need for financing.
It's not no need for financing. Financing would come, but I don't go with financing.
Yeah, you go with the right scientific...
with an idea and have money and I'm going to spend it.
With the right scientific approach, scientific methodology. And once you have it in place, then you can get the required financing.
And for your knowledge, this was the first village in Egypt and in Africa to use renewable energy.
Amazing.
First. And I'm saying, amazing, because this is not even in the propaganda of media. Why?
What type of renewable energy was it?
What types do you know?
Recycling, solar, wind.
Okay. You don't have the complete list.
Of course I don't.
But all what you mentioned and you didn't mention was applied in this village. And just to tell you the story in the right way, in the right way, I told you this was the entrance in 50 years. The child who was 10 years old in front of me, hearing what I'm saying, now is 60 years old.
Correct.
Means he got married, he has children, went
and
to...
probably grandchildren as well.
And my, just to complete the story very short, my idea was there. I did not get money from outside the village for any of the applications. That was a guarantee. We can do it together. How? I tell you.
You got money from within the village? From the residents themselves? From the community itself?
Yeah.
They interested?
I tell you, I tell you a very interesting, innovative, بنتكلم عن innovation.
Yes, creation, innovation, yes.
I don't need to be the one with innovation. But together, we can have an innovative idea.
Right.
Together.
Right.
If we just sit with a cup of tea. Okay. You know, when we say renewable energy and solar energy and electricity, sir, we don't have electricity. Is it possible? Look at the innovative idea. Because we walk 3 kilometers away in the sunny open air and come 3 kilometers the same way. and we go to a place which is not good, and sit in a place which is not good, to have a cup of tea with £1, only to see the matches, football match. Is it possible to have a TV here in the city hall, in the Madiafa, and we pay the £1?
I think it's very possible, isn't it? Yeah.
And someone would say, well, oh, this would save our time and our efforts, and we can do instead, and so on. And even we can pay. You know what was the result?
Sorry, Dr. Arafa, we have to air another report here about the topic, and we'll be back. Sorry to interrupt you.
No problem.
Dear viewers, please stay with us. Another report on the topic of the daily debate for today.
As Greater Cairo has grown to a conurbation of more than 20 million residents, the new administrative capital is Egypt's response to the need to create sustainable communities. Positioned to become the sustainability capital of the Middle East, the NAC is home to key government ministries and foreign embassies. The government designed a new city that is technologically advanced with state-of-the-art buildings and infrastructure, strategic communications, modern transportation systems, and renewable energy supplies are central in the new administrative capital. This is crucial for transportation of people and businesses to ease and facilitate connectivity. Beyond Cairo and the NAC, smart cities are being built across Egypt, from New Alamein and New Mansoura on the Mediterranean coast to New Luxor in the south. The idea is to modernize the different areas within the country. New Alamein is one of the most ambitious of Egypt's smart cities, covering 50,000 acres and with a proposed population of 3 million. It is being styled as Egypt's gate to Africa and combines tourist, residential, and historic sectors. The city's distinctive features include Al Alamein Towers, a series of 170-meter skyscrapers, which will be the tallest on the Mediterranean coast. At New Mansoura, which will be home to more than 1 million, a spectacular Nile Corniche is being constructed, along with a 2-kilometer tourist marina. The smart city will have its own international university, a medical city, scientific research centers, and tech zones. These new fourth-generation cities have everything can possibly be required for a high quality of life. Large infrastructure projects such as water treatment plants, waste treatment facilities, and roads were delivered. The requirement for a high quality of life is incorporated into the city's infrastructure. The smart cities are green in nature. The NAC will incorporate an area of open water, the Green River, as well as parklands, botanical gardens, and an arboretum. It will act as the lungs of the city and be double the size of New York's Central Park. Smart cities also need skilled workers. People are at the core of the Cities of the Future program, which recognizes the requirement for high-quality education and a talent pipeline for modern industry. Part of the government's program of structural reform focuses on ICT training and the development of STEM, science, engineering, technology, and mathematics schools. The NAC, for example, will be home to 6 universities that put an emphasis on vocational training. Since 2015, Egypt has been transforming its energy sector, enacting a renewable energy law, phasing out fuel subsidies, and introducing a solar feed-in tariff (FIT) program to leverage private sector capital. Thanks to its new network of fourth-generation cities, Egypt is well placed to attract more overseas investment. Egypt is the dream of any international company, Investment opportunities are everywhere in Egypt.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Thank you for staying with us. On the daily debate with Dr. Salah Arafa, Professor of Physics at the American University in Cairo. Dr. Arafa, before the report, you were talking to us about your experiment in Al Basaisa 5 decades ago.
Yeah, well, just to make it short, that in this old village where there was no electricity, no clean water, no jobs, no industry, and so on. But with the community together, we start what we call it a community education, to teach them what they can do with solar energy, wind energy, biogas, recycling of waste. All that together was really the introduction that made Basaisa the only village at that time in Egypt, and the only village at that time in Africa as a whole, not really in Asia, because in Asia there were China and starting with biogas and so on. But anyway, the idea was there and it was implemented, and whenever we need money, it is collected. For example, the idea that came very nicely of having a powered television with solar energy to be used in the Madyafa, the collective guest house, where they have death ceremonies and marriage ceremonies and so on. Why don't we have it for a common room where we can see the television together? I don't need to have a television for you and television for me. Let us sit together since we are friends. This economic feature was developed as we discussed it there. And you know, we came with the idea, why don't we have it? Anyone coming to this common room to see the television, who would control who is coming and who would pay and how much? And we decided it will not be £1. You can get your tea from your home, but you pay £50.
50 piastres, you mean?
50 piastres.
Yeah.
You know, in 3 months from the first operation of that TV powered by solar energy, every penny was paid by the people.
The local community, the persons with the higher interest, those most interested in development of their
anyone
city or village.
Here is another very important. No, every single person in that village can do the same way as you do or I do. Why? Because it is within the frame of the association. And for example, when you really have to pay, for example, I have a poor man outside this building, okay? And he's poor. He needs to eat even a sandwich every day. I don't give him a sandwich. What I do, I ask him to come, clean the place, and I give him £10. And he can do whatever he likes. Dignity, jobs, and mentality that you are doing a job. Do it well and I pay it. If not, you are out. To improve things, we need to really make it clear, understanding of everyone. And this is exactly the same way that I'm saying that if, and just to make it short and cut for this one, the children who were in front of me, as I was explaining solar energy and so on, in the old Basaisa, they were the movers to the new Basaisa in
Great to know and great to hear.
Desert, and at least 3 or 4 of them now chairs, department chairs of the highest research centers in Egypt.
Great to know, and it's fun really listening to you, Dr. Arafat. You've given us a lot of nice stories and a lot of useful experiences. We hope that we see you again here on our program. We thank you very much, Dr. Salah Arafat, Professor of Physics, American University in Cairo, and also member of civil society organizations. Many thanks to you.
Pleasure.
Many thank you, sir. And thank you, dear viewers, for watching us. Please stay with Nile TV.